Welcome to Inspiral Out Loud. Today we are talking about stepping out of the light. This is 5 ways on how to outwit our masters of illusion. So this idea came out of a meditation a few years ago during the early onset of the COVID narrative, when a lot of the satanic influence in our society was becoming really quite obvious. They were becoming very overt in a lot of their signaling. So I wanted to get more of an understanding of the Luciferian energy and the Christ energy. So during a meditation, I tuned into both of them, and the Luciferian energy came through as like a white snake, but it wasn't a beautiful, pretty white snake. It was really sluggish, like it looked like Jabba the Hutt, and the skin on it looked as if it hadn't seen sun for hundreds of years, like you would imagine a vampire's kind of skin. But it wasn't even quite snake-like because it was covered in these sort of leeches, like energy leeches or parasites. And so it was just kind of this disgusting, writhing kind of mass. And I had the sense that it had become out of balance. There was so much leeching on it out of greed and out of fear, that it had become quite unstable. And so then when I was tuning into the Christ energy, I saw also a snake, but this one was black. But when I looked deeply into it, it wasn't an empty black. It was a rich black, almost like it was all of the colors. Or if you've seen like a black opal that's almost black, and you just see that little sheen of all the color. That's what it looked like. So there was no blinding light. It was a deep, dark, serene kind of space, and I was told that it was kind of the potential of everything. So it was a very different concept to what I'd sort of thought about previously. And I saw that the snakes should be spiraling around each other like you see on the Caduceus, or like DNA spiraling around each other. And it felt like it was supposed to be keeping each other in balance, in perpetual balance, almost like the positive and negative charge on a magnet. But because that Luciferian energy had become so out of balance, the entire structure was out of balance. That's what I was kind of told, but we need both of those structures in order to be able to have free will. We can't define ourselves as good if there's no opportunity to be the opposite. But now we've just kind of lost our ability to be able to be centered in that duality. So why is this relevant right now? Well, it feels to me like we're right on a precipice, and a friend I was talking to recently said he felt it was literally like this. That's the only way he could describe it. Like literally a flip was about to happen. And, I'm sure we're all feeling that some kind of crumbling, some kind of precipice, some kind of collapsing is just on the cusp of that, right? And on the other side, we need to generate something else, but we're still in that space where it's almost like all the cards are up in the air. They haven't quite landed yet, and we're still in that kind of poignant, pregnant moment where our senses, our ideas, our intent can still really push those cards and inform where they're about to fall. So it feels really important to be able to understand that we're being blinded by a lot of that Luciferian light. What's coming through our media, what's coming through our entertainment, what's coming through our education, our medical system. We've got all of these blinding lights that are really cutting us off from the deeper truth of things. We like to think of truth as a light, but I feel like actually the truth is cutting through the light and being able to see underneath it. So I thought I'd share 5 ways of being able to just cut through that, because discernment is like the key tool. If you learn one key tool in this lifetime, it's discernment. So here's 5 tips, if you like, 5 tips on how to outwit our proverbial masters of illusion. So one is to really tune into an academic mindset when you're looking at information, not just physical information like in front of your eyes, but also internal information, during meditations and so on. When I only did a small amount of academic study, but it was enough to kind of get an idea of how to determine what information is useful. So much of that is about, well, who's sharing that information and what agenda do they have? Where are they trying to steer you with that information? How does that information make you feel? Is it empowering or is it disempowering? And if it's empowering, is it deeply empowering or is it a kind of hopium? If something's giving you really tangible, deep tools that can help you to determine your own way, then I would consider it potentially helpful. But if that hopium is saying, yeah, come with me like Pied Piper style, I will show you the way, I would probably be a little bit more cynical. Really, like, understanding who the person is, why they're sharing the information, what they're wanting you to do with it, and how you can actually utilize that is really important. One key with information, especially when we're talking energetic, if something out there is trying to manipulate you, they will use words. If something is sharing more of a truth with you, they will give you images or an experience or something a little less tangible, something that you can translate yourself. So, I'm really wary of people doing things like channeling and stuff like that. If they're receiving pure words, and especially words that are coaxing their ego, it's really not a good thing. So, all of the worlds and all of the levels right now are, from my experience and my understanding, really highly infiltrated with energetic vampires that do not have our best interests at heart. So really use an academic mind even when you're going through meditations and inner journeys and stuff like that. Number 2 is to challenge your own assumptions. So whenever you're receiving information, like on the internet, through research, or again through journey work, just consider what stance you're at. Are you looking to understand something deeply, or are you looking to confirm the understanding that you feel like you already have? And this is a big one for me, because I've had to reconstruct my inner and outer roadmaps multiple times, especially over the last 20 years, and then especially in the last few years. I keep working my way towards what I think is a truth, and then just when I think I've got there, the whole thing collapses again. And so it can kind of feel like, when you put so much time and energy and resource into something, a project, and then you go, oh, wow, I think I just spent 3 years on something that's not true. It can be really, really enervating. And so being able to look at something deeply with the gamble and the possibility that it might destroy something that you've worked towards, that it can be deeply challenging, but I feel like it's so necessary right now. Using a scientific mind, like real science, not science that's bound up in the narrative and the agenda. But real science is supposed to look at something with a view to trying to disprove it. So trying to disprove your own assumptions is terrifying, but effective way of finding if your assumptions about things hold up. So it's really hard. I know. Ask me how I know. I know. But I think it's a really healthy way to look at things. Be your own skeptic. And then number 3 is to consider what's at stake if your worldview crumbles. Which again, like, it might mean that a huge investment in energy and time and resources and all sorts of things just comes crashing to the ground. Like, it might. But I just feel like this is the perfect moment to really challenge like everything that we think we know. You know, I'm just thinking of things like, one example is, you know, so many doctors and nurses, health professionals during Schmovid were pushing the thing that shall not be named, that had been pushed on them. They were pushed with financial incentives, with social interrogation, let's call it, or ostracization, I think that's the word, from their colleagues, from their families. You know, they really had to push the thing and then keep pushing the thing. And then as more and more information is coming out from the thing and they're realizing that the thing's not so great, in fact, it's downright damaging, potentially, probably, they have to have their entire worldviews challenged. And especially, you know, if they've spent their life studying this work and then confirming their work and making a living out of their work, and then suddenly their work turns out to be the polar opposite of what they thought it was. I can't imagine how challenging that would be. But really, this is the time to really dig deep on all of this. And, you know, we might find that our tribe is not our tribe. You know, I'm sure there's plenty of you out there, I'm certainly one of them, that has lost most of their tribe because we challenged the narrative. But even within the kind of truthers and the people that are more alternate thinkers, even with that, there's a lot of mindsets, there's a lot of stories and narratives, alternative stories and narratives being generated. And then we want to confirm those. But it's actually still falling into the same similar kind of trap. So, you know, I feel like we just need to be prepared to lose the lot in order to really dig deep and find our own truth. It's the only thing that we can do. And if we lose our tribe, or if we lose our spiritual groups, or we lose our, you know, social groups, our familial groups because of that, then we just have to deal with that as best we can. So, and that comes to number 4 actually, is to do the shadow work. Because, you know, why do we feel so threatened by our worldviews coming apart and our tribes falling apart? Well, it can mean that we're very much alone. It can mean that we're made to feel crazy. It can make us very isolated. It can cut us off from our financial support. Like, there's so many reasons why we hold on to various structures. I know that it's not an easy thing. It's downright terrifying. And, you know, that's from me. I haven't had any solid structures at all for about 10 or 15 years, and now I'm finding it's a real blessing. But, you know, I know what it's like to go through that step-by-step disintegration of a foundation. So doing the shadow work, like really looking at the fears and pulling the fears apart and looking them squarely in the face and seeing them and acknowledging them and then allowing them to be there, giving them a voice, is the way to heal from them. And when we can really heal from the fear of not belonging, of not having support, of, you know, not being good enough. I mean, any of us that are told that we're wrong and crazy and stupid in the last 3.5 years for making our own medical decisions, you know, we have to deal with other people thinking that we're not good enough and going, okay, that's fine. I'm still okay with me. you know, we need to go through so many layers of crap to be able to get to that point of being like really good in here. So doing the shadow work's really important. And if you don't know how, message me and I'll send you some suggestions. Might even do another video on it. And number 5. So, you know, get down in the trenches, do all the dirty work, but then see that there's something positive on the other side. And what is positive on the other side is that we can create something new and fresh. And what can that be? Like what can we create with a new fresh outlook that's not bound by our conditioning, that's not bound by fear, that's not bound by what other people say is the way that the world is, that is not bound by authority? You know, what can we really create in this world as truly sovereign, free, open, loving, abundant, living men and living women? What can we dream in? I really don't think we can know what we can dream in fully until we let go of all of the other junk. Because until we let go of the other junk, we're just going to keep recreating in the same patterning, within the same construct, along the same grid lines of the matrix, instead of creating something new. So, you know, there's so much coming at us, and there's so many people in our world that, you know, we ditched that lot and then we went to that lot and we found that that lot didn't have the answers either, and so we went to that lot and they seem to have the answers, but it's in a very small little box. So, you know, it's not to throw everything away either. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but just to really see that everybody only has a bit of the picture. Everybody only has one part, and all of us are still really working from, you know, really dense filters of truth that we've got to shed. But, you know, it's a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. I don't tell anybody what is. I just can share how I see things at this point of time in my physical, emotional, and spiritual evolution. And I'm, you know, undoing stuff every day. So be a walking question mark, Mars said in one of our earlier in Spiral Out Louds. Be a walking question mark. I think this is good. So if you've got any comments, please check in below. How are you doing? How's your worldview? Which are the bits that are crumbling and which are the bits that are reconstructing themselves? So please like and subscribe for more conversations around cracking the light codes of this incredible matrix. Till next time, my friends, be well and keep dreaming the good dream. Ciao for now.